our next segments, and you'll see that on your handout as well. Main point here, we all have the same 24 hours in a day. So I do not, unfortunately, have a magic wand where I can fabricate or you can fabricate a 25th hour in a day. So while we can talk about best practices to make sure you're spending time in a way that's best for you, we have to consider we can't make more time. You can have the best energy and improve your attention. So energy and attention is something that actually impacts time management more than people realize. So I want to talk about that today, as well as some good time management practices. All right, so let's dive in there. So the first thing I'm going to have you consider as you're working on improving time management is just raise your awareness. How are you using your time today? Now, another one of the bonuses in the Taskmaster library is a great time log. It's just a very basic tool, and anyone can do this, but keeping track of your time for a few days, almost like keeping a food log, just makes you more aware of what you're actually doing and how long things actually take. Most of us tend to either overestimate how long something's going to take, we let it overwhelm us, we procrastinate, and when we actually go to do it, it's not that bad. So we are overestimating or we underestimate. We try and squeeze too much in a short time period. That's why a lot of people run late, because they try and squeeze in one more thing, thinking that they can just do it, or they don't plan for transition time. So being aware of how you're currently spending your time is one of the first steps in optimizing your time. I want you to think about, and if you're going to use the time log tool that we give you if you join the program, I want you to think about what are your biggest time wasters? What are you noticing as you reflect on how you're currently using your time? The opposite of that is to think about how is your time best spent? So Vilfredo Pareto came up with the Pareto principle, or the 80-20 rule. You've probably heard of that before. And that states that 20% of our effort generates 80% of our results. So I want you to think about what is your 20% that when you can spend time on those activities or tasks or projects, you get the best results. So what is the 20% of things that you do at work that makes the biggest difference for your job, for your team, for your clients, for your company? What is the 20% of activity, if you're self-employed, that you do that leads to future revenue? So these are the kinds of questions there. We talk about the big rocks, right? These are your big rocks, and you want to consider and know what they are. And then thinking about the opposite, what's keeping you from doing more of the 20%? Well, it's the rest of it, right? The other 80%. Now, some of that 80% we can stop doing. Some of it we just need to find ways to do more efficiently and effectively so it takes up less time. Some of it we can possibly delegate. So that's what you're looking for is, what strategies could I employ to minimize the time spent on the other 80%? All right, so you've probably heard this quote before. I believe originally it was Benjamin Franklin, and that is that failing to plan is planning to fail. So we want to make sure we're making good plans so that we can maximize our time. And that starts with having SMART goals. So knowing what is the target, right? If we just throw spaghetti on the wall, some of it might stick, but when we can really take a specific dart and throw it at a bullseye and aim to hit the center, we know what we're shooting for because we can see it. So SMART goals is probably not new to most of you, but it's a good reminder. When you think about what's important to you and what you're hoping to accomplish, write out your goals in a SMART way. So that stands for specific, measurable, achievable for you, not for anybody else, really wanted, and time sensitive. So these things need to have a deadline, otherwise we're not as compelled to act. The really wanted part is important, and we talk about when you're trying to achieve things, I like the phrase, where there's a why, there's a way. So when we talk about things like fighting procrastination and making progress on our goals and actually getting to our tasks, if we don't know why we're doing something, we're less compelled to act. If we don't really believe in that end result and understand why it's a good thing to accomplish, then we're more likely to self-sabotage ourselves as well, or just not act. So writing out your SMART goals is one step. And that's going to help you identify your priorities. So how do you want to spend your time? Another quote that I use in another workshop is that when everything's a priority, nothing is a priority. So we can do it all, just not at the same time. We have to think about what's our best use of time, and in any given day, week, month, or year, what do we most hope to accomplish? So the first step is identifying those priorities. The second is scheduling them. So identifying the time on your calendar or in your day, week, month, or year that you're going to work on this priority stuff. And then honoring boundaries and balance. And I actually like the term work-life harmony as opposed to work-life balance. I think balance, which indicates that things are of equal weight, is very, very rare if we're talking about work and our personal lives. I think many of the time, work can really weigh heavier, and we have to spend a little more time on work than we might on ourselves or family or friends. And other times we have health need or a family need or a personal need, and we need to let up a little bit on work. So there's this dance that happens as opposed to striving for this equal balance and then hoping to hold it there. So think about what is going to help you have work-life harmony and what boundaries do you need to have in place to be the best you can. So taking breaks is productive, and honoring boundaries to, take breaks during the day. It might mean that there are some things that you say no to in order to say yes to what's most important. So think about honoring boundaries and balance, and that's easier when you've done the work of identifying your priorities. It just makes things more clear. All right, so eat a frog for breakfast. This is a phrase that I originally got from author and speaker Brian Tracy, and he wrote a book called Eat That Frog. In our It's About Time virtual productivity program, we have a day a month that is called the Eat Your Frog Day. And no actual frogs are eaten or harmed in our process. The concept is, if I held a big gross ugly frog out to you and I said, all right, you've got to eat this at some point today, wouldn't you rather get it down for breakfast and just not have to stare at it all day and get it done with? When we take the work that's our hardest work or most impactful work and we get it done early in the day or first thing in the day, a couple things happen. One, it's done before other things distract us or we put it off because it's easy to fill time with avoidance tasks, right? But also, when we get that hard thing done, we get momentum and we get motivation to do more work. So eat a frog for breakfast is another strategy to getting important work done. All right, focus. So this is the opposite of multitasking. It is thinking about doing something and then doing that same thing at the same time. So one of the months in our program we cover, it's actually the month of March, is what we're working on right now. Multitasking Makes You Stupid is the title of the webinar and the topic for the month. And we talk about techniques to help improve your focus. And this is a challenge for many of us now in the day of technology where there's dings and rings and shiny objects and, emails flooding in and, it can be hard to focus. But it is scientifically proven that when we can focus on one thing at a time, we get it done faster and more accurately than we try to split our attention. And that's what's happening when we're multitasking, is we're splitting our attention, we're switch tasking, and we lose time when we do that. So think about what can you do in the space you're working. And those of you that are working right now from home that also have kids that are home and off school, you may need to find a way to trade favors with your partner if you're able to do that, to carve out parts of the day or small chunks of time where you can focus. And let other people know in your work area, wherever that might be, that these are the times when you're going to be focusing and set them up to be successful as well. So do what you can to minimize interruption, and that is also under your control in many areas. So I would turn off notifications. I don't think that they help. I think they hurt more than they help. So turn off notifications. If you're working on the computer, turn your phone upside down so you're not seeing new things coming in or distracting you. If you're working on your computer and you don't need to be in email, minimize email so you're not seeing new email as it comes in. So turn off notifications, minimize interruptions, and then I alluded to this before, but chunk life tasks together. When you can, for example, let your voicemail work for you and then return calls successively, you get into the mode of doing that, so it happens more effectively and efficiently. Processing email at certain times during the day rather than as it comes in also allows you to get into that mode where you can make 1 of 5 decisions for a chunk of time, and that happens more effectively and efficiently. It also, chunking life tasks together, allows you to be proactive about your work rather than just reactive as the work comes in. And I want to make sure you hear me. I'm not saying don't be responsive, especially if you have client-facing work. Of course you want to be responsive. But for some people, they pop into their office and open up email in the morning, and then they look up and it's 5 p.m. and they've been in their inbox all day and not gotten it all to their list of things that they wanted to do. So that's a little bit there on being proactive and focusing rather than trying to multitask. All right, I want you to think now about how you can reward yourself for getting the hard stuff done. I think, we're as human beings motivated either to seek pleasure or avoid pain. And just like we might, think about training a pet or in parenting, it's way more fun to work towards the carrot than the punishment. So think about, and that was a horse reference, the carrot and the stick. And of course, we don't use a stick with our pets or our children. But think about how can you reward yourself? How can you set up something to look forward to for staying on task for a period of time, or doing that proactive work, or doing something that's on your 20% list. So if you've got ideas on how you like to reward yourself, and the rewards, by the way, can be things that you have otherwise or up till now before this webinar used as avoidance techniques, like checking Facebook or posting on Instagram. If you're not doing those things for business, if it's for fun, those can be your rewards. So an example, when I complete this report, I'm going to give myself 10 minutes to just, watch Instagram stories for fun. That can be a reward rather than a distraction. And set a timer, because we all know it's easy to get lost when we're in social media or online by, oh, that looks interesting, and you click on that link, and then you read that article, and oh, there's another link here, and I want to check that out. And before you know it, 2 hours has passed rather than 10 minutes where you intended to take a break. So if you want to put in the chat section, how do you like to reward yourself for staying on task or for getting important work done? We would love to hear about that, and we can share out some of the ideas. All right. So we've talked about 3 different areas of organizing to optimize. We talked about organizing your physical space. We talked about processing incoming items. We talked about some ideas to help you maximize your time and think about your energy and your attention. As far as the energy is concerned, there are a few things there, and this kind of goes with the focus, that you can do to take care of yourself to increase your ability to focus. So making sure you're hydrating. I mentioned taking breaks as you need them because breaks are productive. So not to procrastinate, but planned breaks, right? Making sure you're fueling smart by putting good, healthy things into your body. Movement throughout the day. This is so important. And again, if you're working from home and you haven't before, doing what you can to kind of set a schedule for yourself. Get dressed in the morning, right? And that's the benefit with working from home, is we can work from our PJs and not have to shower. And also there are things that we can do where it puts us in that mode, and we then have the right energy to bring to that work. So think about what kinds of things can you do to take good care of yourself. Another one of those is, while we might be working in a more isolated way or a virtual way, we still want to do things to create community and connection. So relationships need to maintain importance in our life. And that's one of the things that is a part of the It's About Time program. So I want to talk just a few minutes about that. I think that right now is a good time for you to make your time a priority. There's of course, the very, very well-known adage of put your own oxygen mask on first. When you do, you're in a better position to help other people. So think about, are you making your time a priority? Are you creating time for what's most important to you? Are you feeling like there's a sense of control and order and organization in your life and in your work? These are all things that we talk about in the It's About Time program. So this is a community of like-minded people who want to be more organized and productive so that they have time for what matters to them. And in the program, we've got 2 different levels of membership, but included in both levels, we do a monthly webinar, and each of the 12 months we have a different topic that is related to organization and productivity. There are handouts, there are resource sheets. We have an exclusive Facebook community. And so when we talk about connecting and community, one of the things that just happened this month is there's been kind of a spin-off challenge that I didn't start. A community member did because she wanted to and thought that it would be helpful. So the Miracle Morning routine, encouraging other people that have read the book or understand the concept to participate with her in a 30-day challenge around that. That is part of the community that's happening. Members can post questions, I answer them, my team answers them, members answer them, so getting perspective from different people is part of that for sure. I mentioned before we do a monthly Eat Your Frog Accountability Day. That is such a powerful day. I've had members say that they get more done in that day than they did the entire week before because it's focused and because we have hourly check-ins. So it's a great alternative to co-working. If you're not able to work with other people in the same environment now, or even if you are and just need to have some accountability through the day, that's a monthly option for you. And of course, we're offering strategies and tips to get and stay organized throughout the year. We have a premium level that involves more one-on-one time with me. So in the premium level, we do an initial productivity assessment and review. We do a 30-minute kind of onboarding strategy call. We make sure that you're set up to make the most of the program. And then we have monthly implementation calls to help you implement each of the challenges each month. So go check it out. There's a lot more information about the program that I didn't want to take the time to share now because I wanted to really just focus on giving you good content. But go look at that page. You'll see the information about the program. It'll probably answer other questions you have. But feel free to reach out to me via email or on social media through messaging and let me know what questions you have. I am just honored that you took the time to be here. I hope you found this helpful. If this was of interest to you, please let us know. I welcome your feedback. If you'd like to see us do more of this, jump into the program. That's a great way to make sure you're getting monthly injections of all of this. But let us know, too. What can we do to serve you right now? We are a service-based company, and right now we're focusing on our virtual offerings, so both virtual organizing sessions, products, information products, our book, as well as, of course, our It's About Time program. Just wishing you all well. Stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy, and may you achieve everything that you want to in work and in life. That is what we're here for, to help you do that.